Hey Don, so we're here checking out your biped guy. I know you had said you just kind of ran out of time when you turned in assignment 5 and you were going to turn in the assignment later on, but I haven't heard from you in a little while, so I thought I'd just go ahead and go through how to do that with you, just in case you're still having trouble with it. Now what I have open here right now is actually the Biped 32 that you sent, which was the most up-to-date one. And I also have imported into the scene your save for Biped 31, which is the one right before this. I'm going to take this off smooth preview so we can just kind of see what's going on. And it may not look like this on your computer because sometimes files do get corrupted. It looks like that may be what happened here. Or some other crazy stuff, because as you can see, we've got a lot of places where the shaping has kind of gone all over the place and gone a little wonky and pinched in the center here. Yeah, and stuff is kind of gone sort of flying over and around in places where it shouldn't be. So, of course, if we take a look at the save just before that, everything is looking quite a bit more normal, and as it should. Alright. This has still got some problems. Alright, just, like, for example, if you look at the kind of chest and stomach area here, you got kind of the abdomen is just kind of curving around, and then there's like this giant dip right here where the abdomen should be, the I guess torso, and it's also just kind of like curving inwards at the chest there as well. So you definitely don't want that. All right, and then here as well, it looks like instead of continuing around, this line is just kind of coming up and connecting up here. So it's just kind of connecting with that vertex. Okay, I shouldn't be doing that, so we'll fix that. I'll show you how to fix that right now. And other than that, everything about this save looks pretty good, other than I'd say the hand is pretty small, so you may want to adjust the size of the hand. As you can see, it's very thin, and hands are thin. But you may want to give some more shaping to the wrist and everything here, because right now it's very flat, and as you can see. Okay, so let's go ahead and fix this little geometry issue right here first. Okay, so you just want to come up to Edit Mesh, and we're gonna go to Interactive Split Tool. All right, and we're just gonna grab this corner right here and just click, and we'll just plop it kind of right in the middle right here, and just click again, and then come over here to this corner and click, and then we'll hit Enter to complete, and now we have this line coming around here. Okay. After we've done that, we gotta get rid of these two that are just kind of going off into nowhere here. So we'll just come to Edge and just grab those two edges, and we're gonna come up to Edit Mesh, Delete Edge Vertex. Okay, and that's gonna get rid of those. So now we have a nice line that's continuing all the way around as it should be. All right. So next thing we're gonna work on is kind of the proportions and the shaping where it's concerning the chest and abdomen here. So actually, let's zoom in on this a little bit, because it looks like something a little strange is going on right here. Okay, I think I see what's happening. Okay, so let's grab this vert. Okay, because it's kind of gotten tucked like in, up and in. All right, so we'll want to bring that down and over. Okay, because it's and forward probably. because it's causing some weird shaping problems to occur. And alright, there's still some weird stuff going on. Let's see. Let's see what's happening here. Bear with me for just a moment as this is just kind of the process you go through with your own stuff as well, where you just, if something doesn't seem right, just, start kind of pulling stuff out and see where the problems are happening, right? So, obviously all this stuff right here has been pulled in for some reason, and we don't want that. We don't want any weird recesses inside the body there. Okay, so right away we can kind of see that there's a big old hole right there. So that's a problem for sure. And some other weird stuff happening. Alright, so let's actually just let's go ahead and delete some of these faces, because they're pretty bizarre and a little, off track from where they should be. So grab all these crazy ones that were folded inside and just delete them. Okay, and we'll just kind of start a clean slate there. So what I would do here is probably just, well, first of all, I'd bring this out. Okay, so come up to edge here and just, if you can see right here, grab this edge. Alright, we're going to go to Edit Mesh, Extrude, and just pull out a new edge there. Okay, so we had one before, we had a face before there, but it went a little crazy, so we're going to just fix it by bringing out a new one. Once we have our new little face here, just come up to Edit Mesh, Merge Vertex tool, alright, and you're just going to click and drag these vertices to connect them. Okay, so again, it's just going to be a click and drag to the vertex you want to connect to, okay, just like that. And then once you do that, those two verts will now be one vert. Alright, so they are completely connected now. You can go ahead and hit Q to exit out of the Merge Vertex tool. So just, Q on your keyboard for quit. That's one way to remember it. Alright. Let's see, after that, and I'm not being totally precise with the geometry here. I'm just kind of eyeballing it and doing some crazy stuff. So again, bear with me. So I'm just gonna grab this edge right here next, and we'll do the same thing. We're just gonna go to Edit Mesh, Extrude, and just pull it out, right? Let's pull it over here. Okay, so as you can see, I'm a little far off the target here because I'm looking at it from some unusual angles, which is why generally, you'll want to go into your orthographic views to try and do stuff like this instead of just trying to eyeball it when you're in a perspective view. But just for the sake of time, we're just doing this for now. So after that, same thing, we're going to come up to Edit Mesh, Merge Vertex tool, and we'll just grab that corner and merge it right there. Okay. So now it's connected. You can hit Q to exit that tool. I'm going to grab this vertex and just bring it up and over so that it's, it makes a little bit of sense. It's kind of in line with everything that way. Alright. And let's just extend that around. Okay, so we're just gonna go to our edge mode here, grab that, edit mesh, extrude, and we're going to move it right over here to be in line with this area right here. Okay. And I'm just going to do that extrusion one more time before I even connect anything, and just because I know I'm going to be bringing this out as well, I'm just going to bring this right over here. Alright, and now we'll go ahead and connect things. Okay, so we'll come up to Edit Mesh, Merge Vertex Tool, and just, you may want to zoom in so you make sure you're grabbing the right stuff. Grab this one, pop it right there, and this one as well, we're just going to click and drag right there. Okay, looking good. And, I think what I'm going to wind up doing for this is, just going to hit right here real quick. Just going to drag this up, actually, just like this. So I'm actually going to wind up connecting that right there, okay? So, of course, after I do that, I'll want to shape this as well and just kind of pull it up and into place. In a place that kind of makes sense with the contour that we've got going on here, alright? And yeah, okay, so that looks about right. I may want to move that up a little bit so that that's not so wacky right there and stretched out, alright? You don't want too much crazy stretched out polygons if we can avoid it, alright? So anytime you see something sort of folding over itself like that, it's kind of bad juju, so, avoid that as much as you can. Sometimes it just kind of happens that way, though, as it will in this scenario, okay? So I'm just going to pull this over here, and I'm also, just going to pull this over as well, just to sort of even out that shape there. Oh, well, this is interesting. Okay, so now that I've zoomed out, I can kind of see that we've got these lines coming down here that are just kind of disappearing into nowhere, which is definitely not what we want. Alright, so we're going to have to work with those as well to find them a home or someplace to go. Okay, because we don't want just random floaty lines. Okay, so let's go ahead and get back to what we were doing, which is this right here, and we'll just connect these up. Alright, so I'm going to grab my Merge Vertex tool again and just merge that right there. Okay. So, we have something that makes a little more sense now and doesn't have holes in it. We definitely don't want any holes. Okay. And, what I'm going to do with this is actually I'm going to take this guy right here, okay, and merge it to that center one. I'm also going to do the same thing over here. I'm just going to merge it with that center one. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and hit Q to exit out of that tool. I'm going to go to edge mode, grab this edge, because remember we always want 4-sided polygons, and right now we have 2 triangles here. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and come up to edit mesh, delete edge vertex, alright, and now this has, instead of being 2 triangles, this has become 1, 2, 3, 4-sided polygon. Okay, and we've gotten rid of those random floating edges. Again, this is not the same as what is in the book, but for this part of the body, it's not really going to be looked at very hard or scrutinized really too much. So we can kind of get away with it here. And modeling is kind of more of an eyeballing thing a lot of the time than it is precise science. So, you know, just whatever works and gets you all quads is good. So of course, you know, we don't have our material on here, so we'll want to grab all these faces. Since we, you know, just built them, they just come in our default Lambert, and we'll want to go and, of course, I'm right-clicking, just a refresher there, I'm right-clicking, and we just come to assign existing material, and we are going to go with, I'm guessing, material pants, or possibly, well, you know what, either one of these is fine, okay, so we'll just go with material pants there, so we've got pants material, hooray. So another thing that's happening here is you got kind of like, you know, this sort of abdomen area, and then you have these like Mondo thighs coming out, and there's these big long stretched polygons here. You got these little teeny tiny ones, and then suddenly some big giant rectangles, and then back to squares again. Okay, so we definitely don't want anything like that happening, and we don't want the thighs to be sticking out quite so dramatically. Alright, so for this, you know, what I would recommend is just taking the time, and you know, I'll look at this from the front, so I can kind of see what I'm doing a little better. But you know, I would take these and just move them up and try to follow the curve right here. Okay, so right here you've got kind of this natural body curve that's happening. Okay, and you don't want to kind of all of a sudden and chop it off and go to straight like flat leg kind of curves. Okay, so you just want to follow the curves that you already kind of have going in the natural curves of the body. Okay, so you know, it's going to be something more like that. And you know, eventually you do want to get to sort of a horizontal straight across shape, but you know, it shouldn't be so abrupt. It should just be kind of a more gradual shaping thing. Alright, so I mean, you can just move these around, rotate them, you know, whatever gives you the kind of curve that you want, so that you're gradually moving from this kind of 45-degree angle down to this horizontal sort of construction, okay? So that'll improve your edge flow a lot right there, just doing that. And that'll also, you know, just improve the shape of your leg in general. So the other thing here is, you know, again, the thigh here has gotten kind of massive. So actually I'm going to move my pivot point out to the front of the leg here. Alright, and just, you know, just tone that down a bit. Just dial it back, alright? Something a little more like that, okay? So, you know, last thing here with the shaping is how it's just kind of dipping in here at the chest area. You know, that tends to work for the spine, so that we can actually see the spine and get some definition, but what we have going on right here is really far too dramatic. You know, it's just gonna look like he's, you know, dipping straight in. So let's just go ahead and I'll go to edge mode for this one and just grab all the edges from here down to here, okay? And I'll also do the same thing on the front where we have, you know, kind of a cave-in going on. And just grab this all the way down to about here. Oops, grabbed a little too much there. Make sure you're not grabbing more than you bargained for. Alright, so yeah, something like that, and I'm just gonna I'm just going to scale that back out quite a bit, alright? Because this is actually going to be the center of your guy's body, alright? So this is, you know, generally sort of the thickest area of the body right here is just this center area. So obviously, you know, once you do that, you're going to have a lot of shaping issues here that need to be addressed along with that. Alright, so you're going to have to come back in and round this out once you've done that, okay? So that it's not dipping in or anything like that. And part of the problem too is right here on the sides. It's quite wide and flat over here. Alright, so you'll definitely want to bring this in to help improve that sort of rounded shape. Yeah. And this as well is kind of jutting out there. You know, and as you can see, this is kind of like way far back right here when you compare it to the side here and where the arm is and everything. It's kind of like hunchback. So we'll just bring that in as well. Alright. Bring this stuff in as it's kind of jutting out. And sometimes when you're bringing stuff in, you know, you'll bring some stuff in a little too far, and it's all just kind of a process of just really paying attention to detail and smoothing these shapes manually and looking at them from multiple angles. So anytime you see kind of a zigzag shape going on, so kind of we got this kind of up, down, and up again, that's usually an indication that these curves need a little bit of attention, and you'll need to just kind of move them back until that line no longer does the zigzag thing, it just kind of has a smooth arch. Alright, so everything should be a smooth arch. That's what you're shooting for when you're doing this kind of stuff, alright? So, you know, obviously, you probably don't want to see me go and shape this guy forever. I think you get kind of the idea where you want to, you know, some of the major areas where you're going to want to look at and address your shaping. But you know, okay, let's just say for now that you know, we're really happy with that and it's all good. You know, and I really like the way it looks. It's beautiful. All right. So the next thing, of course, that we're gonna do is go ahead and mirror this over to the other side. Okay. So that you know, we don't have half of a guy, of course. So in just a second, I'm just going to go ahead and move these as well, because that's just going to kind of affect our center line when we're mirroring. Alright. A couple more things. Moving stuff over. It's going to be slightly better. Alright. So, the most important thing, and you know, I'm just going to move this guy out of the way for now. You know, I was just showing him at the beginning and what was happening with all this crazy shaping stuff and stuff. So I'm just going to move that guy out of the way so you don't have to worry about that. So we're going to work on this one. Alright, so most important thing when you are mirroring over is that you have a very exact, straight, up and down center line here, okay? Because what it's going to do is it's going to take an exact copy of this and flip it over here, and it is going to try and sew together everything that's along this center line. And if it is not perfectly straight, what you're going to wind up with is when you flip this piece over, you know, where it bows in here, you're going to have a gap, or if it, you know, comes out over here, that's actually going to cause that to be kind of the center, and everything else will be this big, huge gap. Alright, so So it's very important that you have an absolute straight center line. So let's, obviously we don't right now. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's make our center line straight and get this ready to be mirrored. So I'm going to look at this guy from the front. And you know what, I've got a little camera in the way here. I'm just going to move that as well so that we don't have to deal with that. Alright, so looking at it from the front here, and I'm going to go ahead and turn on the shading so we can kind of see what's going on. Actually, you know what? Never mind. There we go. There's a little too much color, I think. Alright, so what we have right here is kind of our absolute center line in the world of Maya, okay? This is just your straight up and down center line. And it's just a guide for you to use, okay, so that you can do stuff like this. So what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to grab the whole thing. I'm just going to move it so that everything is, on one side of this big red center line, okay? I don't want anything to be kind of halfway over here or anything like that. I'm just going to move it just so it's slightly away from that center line, okay? Next thing I'm going to do is go to vertex mode, and I'm only going to grab the vertices that are on the edge of my model, okay? So anything where, if we look in our perspective view, where, a little touchy, sorry. In our perspective view, anywhere where there's a, where we're at the edge of this gap or this hole in this guy's body, okay? So we're just going to grab all of those. And you may need to switch views to make sure that you are, in fact, grabbing the right things, especially when it gets all kind of tangled up in this area, to make sure that you are only grabbing things that are on the edge and nothing extra, alright? So, I think I've done it, but of course I'm gonna go back to my perspective view and check and make sure that I have grabbed things that are only on the edge, and that I haven't missed anything, and that I haven't grabbed anything extra, alright? So, looks good, looks good, looks good. Alright, so I have everything that's on the edge, alright, of that gap. So once I do that, I'm actually just going to move this over a little bit. So it's, kind of somewhat mostly on that center line. And, it's going to make this look crazy. It's going to stretch things out, but that's alright. It's no problem for now. Okay, so once I've done that, I'm going to actually make this kind of wobbly line that's happening right now perfectly straight. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to go ahead and use my scale tool. Alright? And I'm going to scale it in the X direction. And just scale it down. And as you can see, as I'm scaling it, everything's coming into line. Okay? So once I've done that, I have pretty much a straight line. You can scale it again just for good measure. It'll be like super straight. But once I've done that, I've got this beautiful, straight, crisp center line. And now I can just kind of move it back over a little bit till I'm confident that it's kind of right on that center line. And that way we know we got it. It's straight up and down, and it's not too far this way, it's not too far that way, it's just right, alright? So, once I have this beautiful straight center line, let me go back to object mode now. We're actually now ready to go ahead and mirror this object, okay? So, what I'm going to do is come up to Mesh and Mirror Geometry, and we'll go ahead and look at the option box here, just so we can make sure we're doing everything the right way the first time. And it's going to ask us which direction we want to mirror in. If you take a look at this little guy in the lower left-hand corner here, you have your X, Y, and Z axis sort of mapped out here for you, okay? So what this is telling me is this little red line is our X line, and if you look the direction that the line is coming out this way, that's going to be your positive X direction, and if we were to go the opposite way, this way over here, that's going to be negative X. So for this, we want our flipped image to be going this way, right? We want to flip it over here in this space. So that's going to be coming from over here to over there, which is that direction, which is going to be negative X, alright? So negative X is that way. So we're going to go ahead and hit negative X right here. And make sure that you have merge with the original checked and merge vertices selected. Okay, because otherwise you'll have two halves of the guy, but they won't actually be connected, right? They'll be two separate pieces when we want them to be one whole piece altogether. So just make sure that you have those buttons checked, and we're just going to hit mirror once we've done that. Okay? Now, so you might notice that some crazy stuff has happened here, where you've got all these lines just kind of pinching in to this one little spot right here. Don't worry, that's pretty normal actually. So we can change this, and the way we do that is to come over to our channel box / layer editor over here. Alright, and if you take a look at this, right down here under inputs, you're going to see the last thing you did, which is going to be this poly mirror 1. Alright, so you can click on this and it actually opens up, and there are lots of different attributes in there that you can change about your mirror. Okay, so what we're concerned with here is actually this button right here that says merge threshold, and this actually just kind of controls how close vertices have to be together for Maya to go ahead and merge them together. Okay, so it was at 0.1, and obviously that's too much because we're getting things that we don't want merged together. So let's go ahead and change it to something a lot smaller, like 0.01, and see what happens. Okay, so as soon as I did that, everything kind of snapped back into place. And you just want to make sure that nothing's, there's no gaps anywhere, and that nothing's getting pinched together anywhere that it shouldn't be. Alright, and if it is, then you can always go even further. Don't get too crazy with this, or you will start to get gaps in your model. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it at 0.01. Alright, and that's basically how that works. Of course, you'll want to come in and adjust your shaping here in this chest area, because obviously right now, you've got kind of these big wide areas, and your guy's looking a little chunky in the chest area there. So you'll want to come back in and readjust that, or adjust it before you mirror. Okay, so just be aware of that. That oftentimes your chest will turn out looking quite a bit larger than you had originally sort of thought that it might. Okay. So, that's all I have for you on that. Let me know if you have any questions about anything, and I hope that helps. Other than that, happy modeling.